I think in-housing is a fantastic trend. It shows that publishers are actually embracing programmatic much more, and it also shows to me that people are understanding, or publishers are understanding, that programmatic does not just mean selling remnant, it really also means selling premium. They understand that you can do so many things. It's not just selling your leftover inventory, it's a way to sell direct, it's a way to set up private marketplaces and trade with premium brands, and we think it's a wonderful trend, and we hope that more publishers are investing more time and more resources into in-housing programmatic.
I think a lot of clients are kind of in-housing programmatic talent. It's really great for us because as a programmatic business like ourselves, we're talking to people who really understand it. Having those experts and clients is a godsend for us.
In-housing is definitely a trend on the rise, I think particularly in the US. And I think it's probably beneficial for the industry as brands pivot more towards digital ad spend. It's really important for them to understand programmatic. Obviously that builds a challenge for an agency and what value they have in the ecosystem. But I think agencies will pivot appropriately. I think the development of Group M's data play that we've seen over the last couple of weeks is a step towards that. So I think agencies are going to have to prove their value in this ecosystem along with the likes of Facebook and Google.
I think this year has been a big year for consolidation. I think the more channels and devices get fragmented within the programmatic world, the more consolidation is going to be driven. It's going to be harder and harder on the buy side for point solutions to be able to just sit within that one sphere, that one channel, that one device. As buyers demand more channels and more devices and they get bigger and bigger and bigger, you're going to need one place to be able to buy that from.
Consolidation has to happen. I think a reason for that is because the space became so crowded at one point that it was starting to inhibit as opposed to enhance and facilitate the programmatic process. It certainly will come to a head at one point where it will have to be consolidated, and then everyone will be working to the same standards, whether this is to measure viewability, whether this is how an auction is performed, or whether this is around formats.
Trust is a really important thing for this year, and it's always going to be. And the reason it's such a big buzzword is because people are protecting their margins, making sure that publishers and buy side are all making money, but in a transparent way.
Programmatic obviously gives you more transparency than historical kind of ad network model, which were very black box. What I think needs to happen to improve that is the adoption of independent measurement, whether that's Comscore, Nielsen, or some of the other players coming to the space. So I think it's like Martin Sorrell, you can't be both the player and the referee. So I think independent measurement is going to come to the fore, and I think programmatic lends itself very well to that.
You do query the purpose of being in advertising. I'm deeply unfashionable, but I think I still am. I'm a capitalist.